Hello, guys. It's doing the second part of that video, the sy- synthetic man video. Okay, here we go. Uh, I don't know. Since I I've been doing acting rehearsals for like 5 weeks now, and I just got like a flashback to like, okay, I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Um, Jeb Coleman, presented by John Robert Powers. You have to say that in our audition, or whatever company you're represented by. But I don't know. I just thought of that as I was saying my intro. Anyway, let's continue.
Again, no shit. You really think I didn't understand that? That doesn't matter. Sometimes doing what the villain wants and giving in is interesting. Kratos is known to be quick to anger, at least he used to be. He used to lash out at everything.
Well, he doesn't anymore because he'd grown in his character. He realized that isn't the best way to do things.
That pissed him off. That was one of his defining traits.
It's not anymore. He'd gone through an arc.
This doesn't make him look more mature. It just makes him look like a pussy.
Not getting angry at every little thing makes you a pussy. Why? Having self-control is extremely sensible and makes you not a pussy, because losing your cool is bad for everyone because it can make you do irrational things.
That was my point. And again, the scene just could have ended far more interestingly than it did. Now,
sick of all the ads? Like this one? Just get to adskiller.com. Click on Activate Now.
Now, normally this is where I would end the video, but just as I was getting into the editing process, I was made
Hey, thank you for joining.
aware of a response video made by Zero Needs Coffee called The Worst God of War Ragnarok Review Synthetic Man. As you can imagine, I was having flashbacks to my Doom Eternal videos and the responses that followed. And I won't lie, when I saw this on stream, I was pretty tilted. So I'm going to try to give a little bit more of a measured response here, and maybe be a little bit more...
I thought being measured was a bad thing. It makes you a pussy. Whatever, I'm being reductive.
more charitable, a little bit less hostile and insulting, which is not exactly my forte, but this is a smaller YouTuber, and to be frank with you, I'm not even sure I'm talking to an adult here, so I'm going to dial back my responses accordingly. And this kind of goes without saying, but please do not go to this video and harass this person. The last thing I need is another reason for YouTube to shut my ass down.
Hey, at least it's saying don't go after these people, you know? At least it's saying that. Doing the bare minimum. But he's doing it, you know? Maybe a horrible racist and sexist, homophobe. But at least he's doing the right thing.
If you guys could just control yourselves, I'd appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into this.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Zero. Welcome back to the channel. This was kind of weird because it's been like a little over 2 weeks since I even worked on a long form video, since I've just really been focusing on shorts content.
Well, this is not a good start. This person thinks that 9 minutes is a long video.
Well, maybe a long video to him. You never know. It's all relative. You know, he may do shorter videos, you know, and consider this a long video in comparison to his other stuff. So, it's all relative. You do like 20, 30-minute videos, so that is short to you. I mean, this video is 39 minutes.
And it's a 9-minute response to an over hour-long review, so you know it's gonna be good. I'm sure these were some very well thought out responses, not at all rushed for maximum searchability in the algorithm.
Well, why do you just assume why do you just go bad faith and assume the worst.
No, who would ever do that?
In the time that I was focusing on that, though, a game reviewer, YouTuber named Synthetic Man posted this video about God of War Ragnarok. And in this video, he basically just goes on and on about how the game is emasculating him and how the game is so woke because there's strong female characters. And it's just some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
God, this comes across as some kind of feminist torture fantasy. What the fuck? See, the weird thing is, I can't tell if he thinks it's funny because of how absurd it is or because of the way I said that line. At least...
No.
I thought it was funny because of how absurd it is, or...
I don't think he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's wrong because you're, like, weirdly against women and, like, against everybody. And from one of your live streams, you apparently like children. But we're not going to go into that.
Or because of the way I said that line. At least I thought it was funny. And I noticed he cut out the line in question that was super cringe. Let me just remind you. Bow to your queen! Seems kind of...
How would that Mary Sue-ish? Everything she does when she, captures Odin, the scene cost her because she is really milking the situation, not ending it quickly, and Odin is able to figure out a way to get out of it. It cost her. This is her fucking up. She is the opposite of a Mary Sue. She does everything wrong. If she didn't have to want this badly, they would have won right there and then. I can't see. Live chat. Okay. I set you to live chat in case you want to put a comment or something.
Dishonest, don't you think? And one of my fans told me this person is actually anti-woke, and they didn't have a single problem with Freya being such a blatant Mary Sue.
Freya's not Mary Sue. She makes several problems in the scene that you referenced. If you wait till that scene ends, Freya is boasting about, oh yeah, I finally have you, and this and that, and Odin's like, fuck you, do, and like sends a giant blast and is able to escape. If she didn't do that, they would have won.
So obviously this guy doesn't have very strong principles, or is a liar, as are many people on
No,
YouTube.
you're just wrong.
Also, I'm not the only one who sees the irony in him mocking me for thinking the game is emasculating him, while he's using an effeminate twink Rule 63 version of Marceline from Adventure Time as his avatar.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but you do you, bud.
I mean, come on, man. Have some self-awareness.
It's going to be extremely spoiler heavy. Like, literally every plot detail about the game is going to be explained and spoiled. So if you haven't played the game yet, I recommend you go check it out. But if you're not able to play it or have an Xbox or something, then you can also check out a video like this, like a full game, no commentary video. I highly recommend you go do that. Don't watch this video. Go experience the game first and then come back.
Instead of,
I agree. Experience the game.
Playing the game yourself, or just waiting until you could get a PS5, he suggests that you watch a full game walkthrough. And the part he's leaving out is when you then pretend you've played the game yourself and have a real opinion on it.
You can have an opinion on the game. It's just not on the combat. If you watch a full walkthrough, you can have an opinion on the story and everything that happens in it. You just can't have an opinion on the gameplay because you didn't play it. But you can have any opinion on story, graphics, or anything like that. That's totally fair. You're dumb.
Are you fucking
because playing the game, like actually controlling the game, you don't need an opinion. You don't need the game in your hand to have an opinion. You can watch the game.
Kidding me, dude. I hate Zoomers so much.
what's a zoomer? Put a zoomer. I don't know what a zoomer is. Put what a zoomer is in the comment. No, in the video. And oh, I can't remember the name of that lady that keep commenting on these videos. She commented on my last video. I don't know how long you've been subscribed to my videos, but I appreciate it. And if you would like to do a video together, I would love to. I mean, I'm assuming it's she. I think her name is a female in the comments. You know what? We'll go look up that right now. We'll find out if she has a channel. I'll promote that too. But I would like to have a conversation with her about anything she would like. View your channel. Okay, Oh. Mary Wilcox. Let's see if she has a channel. She had 9 subscribers, but no videos. So Mary Wilcox, if you would like to, I don't know, do a video, talk about anything you would want, I'd be into it. But, and anybody else, you know, but, it's just the person I thought of because she commented on my last Synthetic Man video. We had a conversation, you know, in the comments. It was great. I love it. But, I believe it was her. But, and then she commented again. I love it. Anyway, back to video.
Half of this game is either watching a cutscene, walking in a straight line, or engaging in one of the game's many hidden loading screens, whether that be rowing a boat, riding a giant yak.
What are you supposed to do? Teleport to every location? In the, at least for the sake of realism, you need to travel to places. You need to feel like the world is big. If you just teleport to every location, the world would feel extremely smaller, and you would be less likely to be immersed in the game.
All shit we've seen 1,000.
Climbing the walls gives the characters an excuse to have conversations, because where you're walking, there's conversation too. But during combat, you can't do that. So I feel like, especially during walking and climbing, you can get character in there. Every time in this game, if there isn't action happening, there's character happening. And it's great. I love it. Why is that a bad thing?
1,000 times, and it gets old.
Character, plot, no character, or world building. I love it. That's why I think video games have the most story potential of any media. Well, books. Books and video games are neck and neck. Because, you know, you can just... Well, no, video games are better. Because you can just go off into a random place and, you know, get some story about characters or the world that's not directly related to the plot. And that's really interesting. And it's hard to do that in movies or TV shows.
Old.
Because everything needs to keep moving. And if it doesn't, you know, your story's gonna grind to a halt.
That half of the game is running around, talking to people, watching cutscenes, and exploring the world. Isn't that half of what pretty much every video game is?
Yeah, that's what I said before.
Okay, when he first said this blew my fucking mind. Let me just play a clip from the stream.
Pretty much every video game is.
What? What? There are so many things wrong with this statement, I don't even know where to begin. The fact that you think that half of every game ever made is cutscenes or talking to people or quote-unquote exploring the world, which is not at all what I meant by that statement, and you know it.
Let's go back. Okay. I'm gonna running around, talking to people, watching cutscenes, and exploring the world. What else could you mean by that?
Pretty much every video game is.
Okay,
Literally
when you
on the
first said
screen
this
exploring
blew
the
my
world.
fucking mind. Let me just play a clip from the stream.
Pretty much every video game is.
What?
And while other areas load, but that's not why they put all the expansive areas in there. They do it for, obviously, to make the world more immersive and more lively, all that kind of stuff. That's what most video games do. That's baseline.
What? There are so many things wrong with this statement, I don't even know where to begin. The fact that you think that half of every game ever made is cutscenes or talking to people or quote-unquote exploring the world, which is not at all what I meant by that statement, and you know it. Rowing around in a boat is not playing the game. You only use the left analog stick to control it. Shit, I could just use a fucking game from this year, Elden Ring. All of the Souls games, the vast majority of them is gameplay. A lot of my
okay, Dark Souls and God of War are trying to achieve different things, right? Dark Souls or Elden Ring isn't as story heavy as God of War. You know, God of War is trying to be incredibly story heavy and story driven. Elden Ring isn't. Reaching for different things. It's a bad comparison.
favorite games ever made are almost entirely gameplay focused. The Spyro trilogy, the Crash trilogy, Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, which I just played on stream, Half-Life 2 is almost entirely gameplay. In fact, pretty much every game made before the 3D era was 99% gameplay. Seriously,
I don't know that for sure, since I haven't played any of those games. Like more modern games, you may be right. I think he's wrong, but I'm just gonna
look up any Super Nintendo or Genesis game. It's all gameplay. You have
okay,
to
I agree with that. It's not all gameplay. There's story in there, but obviously, as the media has grown, more games have become more story heavy.
Before you speak, dude, I know this is coming across as incredibly condescending, but this is the most brain-dead statement I think I've ever seen in any game video. I am not exaggerating. I'm serious. This one just doesn't make any sense if you even think about it for 2 seconds.
I've never really heard anyone complain about a game before because the reason they didn't like it was that 50% of the game was walking around, watching cutscenes, and exploring the world.
And this isn't even a good description of God of War, I would say. Because God of War, the new ones, have a lot more gameplay than story. I mean, you can go on Fight the Valkyries. Those have practically no story. Then the Berserkers, all that stuff. I'm not going to mention Valhalla because Valhalla wasn't out when this video was made.
Imagine returning this game to GameStop and the cashier is like, why don't you like the game? And you say it's because 50% of it is watching cutscenes and running around. The dude would probably think you're mentally ill.
Honestly, if I was working for GameStop and someone said that to me, I would give them a refund with no questions asked. In fact, I would shake his hand and call him a motherfucking Chad in front of the whole store, dude. Someone needs to fucking say it. This game does not respect your time.
And just like you're not respecting the game's story. You put this section in 8 times speed as if it's a loading screen or something. This is a very touching scene.
I was about to say the same thing. I'll just let Zero needs coffee do it.
Where Kratos talks to his now dead wife in a dream. And you're just skipping over it like it's literally nothing.
Oh, wait, you're serious? Let me laugh even harder.
I don't even think I need to clarify.
Oh, 1 second. I seriously would like to have a conversation with this guy. You know, I seriously would.
my point any further here. This is a deep and emotional scene to a Sony fanboy. Holy shit. Kratos just mysteriously has lost almost all of his abilities and gear from the last game.
They explain in the game.
Afraid to give you all of the combat mechanics.
It's not afraid. They want you to unlock all the mechanics.
Until about 10 hours in.
Okay, so I guess this guy is upset that all of his abilities and gear that he had unlocked in God of War 2018 didn't transfer over to this game. You wanted Kratos to start the game looking like this? That's not possible because the developers have no clue what you unlocked in the last game. And even if they did, everyone should start from the same point. This is even...
I agree. I don't... What do you mean? No, I will not jerk off for you. I'm sorry, I don't roll that way. I like it. You may be okay with that, but I don't roll that way. You know? Gay people are okay, but I'm sorry, I'm not gay. You know? I know I'm good looking and everything, but...
This is even explained in-game.
What happened to all the armor we made you already?
I used it.
Yes. I just let Zero do it.
Well, maybe try to make this one last longer.
I will not.
And the game also explains why Kratos doesn't have any of his abilities or gear from the original trilogy.
This is such an awful straw man. I don't even know where to begin. I already addressed some of this earlier in the video, so...
It's not a straw man. It's literally said in the game. What's wrong with that? I mean, it's thin, but better than nothing. And do you have a problem with the other God of War game doing this? Because this happens in every God of War game.
If you're one of this guy's fans, I'll give you the timestamp to when I address the starting with nothing point. But as to your other point, I never implied Kratos should have any of his original abilities. I also never implied the game should read your save file to know what you unlock.
No, what you said was... Why did Kratos start out with no abilities? Meaning that you want the old abilities that you had from 2018.
That doesn't make sense either. Why do you view everything so black and white? You don't have to start with literally nothing, and you also don't have to start with all of your stuff from the last game.
You don't start with literally nothing. You can get new upgrades fairly quickly. You get all that stuff fairly quickly.
My point was, this game has no sense of progression. It feels like an expansion pack of the last game, because you have the same starting equipment and abilities as the last game, except thankfully you get the Blades of Chaos pretty early on. But even a lot of the runic attacks are the same fucking ones from the last game. The fucking God of War can't block a random fire skeleton's axe swing. My immersion is destroyed.
See, this is your problem. Narratively, yes, Kratos could kill every enemy really quickly. But that wouldn't make for a fun game. So, they add mechanics, you know? Like, okay, you got unblockables. That make the game more interesting? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having an interesting game, you know? In the cutscenes, Kratos is consistent, but whatever.
So do you want him to be fucking invincible? It's still
Yeah.
a video game. It still has to present some challenge. And if you fuck up, there still has to be a losing condition.
Again, this is an idiotic straw man. You argue only in extremes, dude. Just think about it for 2 seconds. It's called...
No, you literally said, how can Kratos not block an attack from a random fire skeleton? Meaning that you don't want these enemies to be able to hurt you.
Called suspense of disbelief. That I need to use the actual term for you to understand it, man. It has nothing to do with gameplay mechanics. It's literally just suspense of disbelief, and mine was destroyed multiple times.
And when you apply that logic to any other game, it just sounds stupid. How can the legendary crime fighter Batman die to a random thug's punch? How can the superhumanly powerful Doomslayer die to a random projectile from a demon? This sucks. Immersion ruined. Like, this dude has literally no understanding of how video games work.
The fucking arrogance of this guy to say, I don't understand video games. I would bet any amount of money I play twice as many as you have, and likely far more than that across my life.
That doesn't matter how many games you play. It only matters if your criticism is right, you know?
Reuse.
Sure, more video games will give you more experience and will give you more knowledge, but if you're right, you're right.
Almost every enemy type from the first game. I mean, exact same animations and attacks.
What?
Oh my god, the game takes...
What is wrong with that? You have new enemies, you have old enemies, then you add new enemies on top of that. What do you think? You killed every enemy from the last game?
Place in the same world as the last game. It's gonna have some of the same enemies.
Okay, this is how I know this guy's a retard.
Okay, you just calling him a retard with, even though he's completely right, and you have no evidence. I call this guy's stuff because there's evidence of him being an actual sexist.
You just argued that I don't know how video games work, and then you just made a meta argument for why in-universe the same enemies would appear. You're a moron!
That's not a meta argument. They're literally in the world. What do you think, Kratos killed all of them?
Just gonna say it. I don't care if I get in trouble for mocking you. You deserve to be mocked for a statement like this. Why didn't the old God of War games reuse every enemy type then? It was Greece. It would have the same...
They did reuse all the old enemy types. You're stupid. Every God of War reused every enemy type, except 2018, where they had new enemies.
Enemies, right? Because it's fucking lazy. It makes the game feel like the last game. Have you never played a sequel in your life? This is the...
There are plenty of sequels have the same enemies. You have footage of Dead Space currently right now. They're mostly the same enemy throughout all the games. You're stupid and you contradict yourself. I don't even think without realizing.
The absolute state of gamers, dude. This is why I have no respect for anyone who buys and plays modern games and actually enjoys them. Between games,
people can enjoy whatever they want.
Atreus and Kratos have literally just been hiding in their house, waiting for the world to end. I wish I was fucking joking.
They're not hiding. They've been training, gathering, and resources, and trying to figure out what to do.
Dude, no. Kratos even explains this in-game.
Yes, they've been training.
Like, dude, Kratos literally fucking says it in the game. They're training for when the gods eventually find where they're hiding out and attack them. They're not doing nothing.
Oh, they trained. Oh, so what are the results of their labor? If they were training so hard, wouldn't they start with more abilities than they had?
Some of the abilities from the old game are base abilities now. Like, and you have that new charge up X ability, the frozen one. You have all new types of stuff.
They had in the last game, they wouldn't start at level 1 with level 1 equipment, right? They wouldn't just stick with the same equipment and abilities if they were training
It
so
was
hard.
used up, and Fimbulwinter wears down magic.
For 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Turns out that Freya has been trying to kill Kratos for the last 4 years, but despite knowing exactly where he lives, she somehow has
doesn't. There's a there's a stave area where she can't enter and where they can exit out wherever they want to.
failed every time.
There's a protective force field called a stave around their home, which is stopping her from getting in. That's literally where they're going when they're running from her at the beginning of the game.
Again, this is a straw man.
No, it's not a straw man. It's literally what happens in the goddamn game.
said she should come to the front door and kill them. I already explained this point.
No, you said she knew exactly where they were, meaning she knows where the house were, you stupid bitch.
Earlier, here's the timestamp. And God, I just fucking hate this design. Anyone who says he looks like a strong man has never actually seen a strong man.
He looks like a strong man that's been an alcoholic for a couple 100 years.
Even Eddie Hall at his fattest had more.
He obviously wouldn't be in top shape because he is a alcoholic, incredibly depressed.
Muscle definition than this.
What the fuck are you talking about? There's a lot of strong men that look like Thor.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give my stream reaction for this one. This is the most Dunning-Kruger shit I've seen in a long time.
What's Dunning-Kruger? I don't know.
You can't see the difference between these two pictures?
There is a difference, but they look incredibly similar. They look incredibly similar. Fuck. That's my fault.
You put that in your video! You put it in your fucking video! I'm mad. Look at his chest. Look at the arms. And lots of strongman, and he literally just shows Eddie Hall, which was the fattest. Eddie Hall bulked up to like 430 pounds for that or something like that. And at 6'2", 6'2 and a half.
Obviously, he looks like a strong man if you know, he gained more weight.
Again,
but they look incredibly similar.
Know what you're talking about. Oh my god. But people who don't lift will tell you this is I don't see the difference. It looks like the same guy.
He didn't say same guy, he said similar.
Dials. Absolute dials. Odin came to offer peace. Kratos refuses, which might as well be a declaration of war.
No! I'll let Carter do it.
No, in the last game, it's a really strong plot point that Odin is a manipulator and lies to get things that he wants. I love how he conveniently didn't show the part where Mimir was accusing him of lying and explaining to Kratos how manipulative he is and not to believe him.
Again, here's the timestamp where I explain my position on that.
It's fine if he keeps
Just slap your son. Fucking slap him.
Why would slapping Atreus be the right thing to do? That would, for one, push Atreus away completely, and it would solve nothing.
Oh, okay. The pussy-ass writers. Like, do you know how many dads would...
Oh, right. A good father. You're an asshole. I hope you don't become a father. Because apparently you think being a good... The meaning of a good father means to hit their son, apparently. Because that makes sense.
Fucking bitch slap their sons if they spoke to them right then.
No! That is a horrible thing to do. You're an awful person.
If Kratos bitch slapped Atreus, he would probably fucking die. He's the god of war.
Once again, my stream reaction to this was perfect. Okay, this is parody, right? This must be parody. Because that sounded like a joke. I mean, that sounds like something I would say.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. This video is over an hour long, and I don't really see any point in going over the rest of the video. I just wanted to take a look at the most outlandish points and explain them, because this review is really bad. Like, this is really, really bad. It's obvious that this dude didn't like the game before he played it, and he just went into it, looked at the whole story at face value, and just doesn't even really understand what's going on.
And once again, the most tired leftist argument of all.
How's that leftist?
He just hated the game before he even played it. Oh, really?
Yeah, because you clearly can't engage with the game on any level. You're wrong. You get everything wrong. Statistically, you should get something right, but you don't. Because everything, it's sent through your brain with this political angle.
Then why did I like the last game? Yeah, I thought it was a bit overrated, but I thought it was a somewhat refreshing take on God of War. I was annoyed by one particular scene in that game, which I bring up in the review, that I guess you just skipped around in because you just couldn't bring yourself to react to the rest, I guess.
No, he picked some things he wanted to react to. You're allowed to do that.
And again, you made an 8-minute reaction to an hour and 5-minute long video. You used maybe...
He picked the things that he thought he had the most egregious things with.
5 minutes at most of my video, and then call it a horrible video. So if anything, the other hour of the video is really awesome. If it's not worth even commenting on, that sounds like a great video to me.
No, he just said the things he had the most problems with, meaning the other parts in the video he had problems with.
But no, I guess because I made a couple points that you people didn't understand, because I didn't explain myself that well, which I admitted earlier, then I guess it's a bad video. Or here's an idea, you're a fucking fanboy with your head up your ass, you have really shit taste in video games because you haven't played any really good games, evidently, and you certainly haven't played any games that are primarily gameplay. I mean, that point was absolutely absurd.
God of War is primarily gameplay. It had more gameplay than story.
Dude, come on. I literally just streamed Dead Space 1 one more time before Callisto Protocol comes out, and guess what? That game is like 80% gameplay. Even when you're not fighting enemies, you're engaging in some kind of puzzle room, and the puzzles are much
Okay, you're just describing the game.
more creative than God of War Ragnarok's. And even when there is a cutscene, guess what? You have control over your fucking character while the video logs are playing.
Okay, that's just a different style. Have that better.
Because it's a video game, first and foremost. You're supposed to play them, not watch them.
Why? Why? What's wrong with watching a video game? Getting story.
Why is this so hard for you to understand?
He didn't explain.
From 1980 all the way until like 2005.
None of this matters.
Vast majority of video games had minimal
That doesn't matter.
cutscenes. All of the ones that had excessive story were notable for that. Because the vast majority of games didn't have more than an hour of cutscenes.
Exactly. They are notable because more people were more interested in them because the story enticed them. You stupid.
Across the entire game. It's only in the past 10 years that games have had more and more cutscenes, which you would know if you actually played video games, which I don't think you do.
He never said...
Which means you have no authority to talk about games. And you...
No, that's not... You can talk about whatever you want. As long as... If you get it right, you're right.
Clearly haven't seen many of my videos where I've talked about games I like that are obviously primarily gameplay focused. So again, this is an embarrassment. You should absolutely...
So why did you play this game if you knew it was going to be story focused, like the last game? You knew you were going to not like it.
Feel ashamed of yourself that you shit this video out without thinking about it for more than 2 seconds. But no...
Isn't that exactly what you do? In this video, you said you don't take any pride in your work. You just don't edit your videos. You just do whatever and just shit the video out. So isn't that a good thing to do, in your perspective?
You're going to continue to churn out content and slowly accrue more and more subscribers.
Isn't that exactly what you do? You said you do that.
Because YouTube doesn't care about quality, it only cares that you cover trending topics. Which I'll admit is something I've done myself many times.
Exactly! So why are you angry at this guy if you do it?
Over the past 3 years, it is a necessary evil to gain any traction on this website.
No, it's not! You can take pride in your work. You can have... My God, you don't have to be some lazy fuck.
This was a bad video, dude. You say my review is bad? You didn't even think out half your points for this man, and it was only 9.
You didn't. You said it was a bad thing for this guy to just shit out a video, in your opinion, when you do the exact same thing. Incredibly hypocritical.
It's long. So hopefully you take something from this, but considering how insulting I was, I honestly doubt it. And I have no plans to make another response video in case some responses to my review blow up. The only way I might consider it is if that person also watches this video and how I clarify my points from that review, and if they still have arguments to my revised points, then maybe I'll consider it. But honestly, I would rather just review Callisto Protocol and make a video on the Game Awards, which I have no doubt Ragnarok will sweep all of them, because it's all been rigged fucking forever, just like any other game show. But if this is the best that Sony fanboys have to offer to refute my video, you failed. Like, you colossally failed.
You refuted yourself in your own video, and you don't even realize it, you stupid fuck.
Because pointing out minor story details I got wrong is the equivalent of being a grammar Nazi. Sure, maybe I learned a thing or two, and maybe I'll do a little bit more research for future videos, but not a single one of these points refutes any argument I made in the video. Not a single argument I made in the video has been refuted about it being a giant fucking movie game, about it being woke as fuck, about the
yes they have, and yes I have, whatever.
combat being too similar to the last one, which I actually pulled my punches on that. I didn't make that a big point.
What do you expect them to redesign a whole combat system? That's stupid and waste of time. They can just refine what they already had, and they did.
Original draft, but I decided to be nice and mostly stay positive for the combat section. About Kratos' character assassination, about Atreus being an effeminate cuck, about Freya being a Mary Sue.
Well,
none of these things were
that part just blew my fucking mind.
refuted.
Effeminate
These are all the
cuck.
most important criticisms of the game. And then there's the lack of gore. There's the Marvel...
There is plenty of gore. You just skip past it, you fuck. You in the video, you have to edit around the gore. Heimdall fight has gore. You dumbass.
movie ripoff shit. There's the fact that this game is clearly made for people who don't actually enjoy video games, which is why you're not...
How did that make any sense? How do you make a video game for non-gamers? And how did that make over $1 billion if it's not for gamers?
Been playing the game the majority of the time, but if you love movies, if you love staring at the fucking screen, not touching the controller except when a fake QuickTime event comes up...
What's a fake QuickTime event? If it not fast, that means it's not a QuickTime event.
You'll love this, I guess. Game of the Year 2022, right? So I honestly have no idea how to end this video. Synthetic Man wins, commenters lose again, big surprise. I'm the greatest. See you next time, guys.
Oh, shit. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a great night, and, yeah, that's it.